Hi everyone, welcome to our first Google Hangout of the 2015 football season. I'm joined with Coach Pinkel and Mack Rhoades. We are so excited to be here. It looks like we have a great group of fans. Coach, how's it feel to be sitting down doing another one of these?
Here we go. It's awesome. I always had a good time doing it. I remember we started it a couple years ago, and it was I think it's been really nice. It's a nice way to kind of market ourselves and really get our fans involved. So it's a pretty cool deal.
Mack, first time?
This is my first one, so watch out. But no, this is really cool just to kind of hang out with the fans and just visit with them. So looking forward to it.
All right, let's open it up. Does anybody want to introduce themselves and talk some Mizzou?
Yeah, so I'll hit it off. Coach Mack, glad to be here with you guys and everybody else. And so I'm kind of cluing in from you guys from Kansas City. I grew up in Columbia, Missouri. Coach, just a little feedback on me. I grew up next to Chase Patton and was catching passes from him actually even before high school, and so it was fun to watch him as his career and probably just a reality check to let you know how good Chase Daniels was. Is was not able to kind of get above him and kind of what they were doing and what you guys were doing as a team. So it's really cool to see how he grew as a player and just different times he got to play. So anyway, just giving you some background on where I came from, and I think.
By the way, Chase is my dentist now.
Yeah.
Like I say, now he's back in Columbia. He's got his
recruited him. I would never imagine ever him sticking his hands in my mouth.
Yeah, now he's got his hands in your mouth, so that's a different deal. But absolutely, so I think he's absolutely where he should be. And so my question actually for you, Mack, is it was kind of hit my way is you've added several new staff members to your admin team, and I was hoping you could talk about some of those additions and maybe the impact that that's had, maybe just on Mizzou athletics or as you're trying to build a culture.
Certainly. So, phase one for us in terms of just kind of maybe reorganizing our staff a little bit. We're three key hires. The first one was Ren Baker, and Ren is our deputy director of athletics, and will come in and really year one primarily have his hands on all of our external units. So that's communications, fundraising, our development, tickets, ticket operations, ticket sales, marketing, promotions, licensing, merchandise, all those things, and really helping put together a structure, an organization, those different units that really will maximize revenue generation for us. Ren was an AD, Northwestern Missouri. I thought that was really important to have somebody that's been in that seat and knows that I don't care what level you're at. The fact that you've been in charge certainly brought me great comfort as a number two person, really. Ryan Bradley, we hired Ryan again from Memphis. And so we have like the Memphis connection going on here at the University of Missouri. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. We're going to find out here soon. But Ryan Bradley really to oversee our strategic communications area and marketing. And I really, to try to simplify it, Ryan will be our master communicator and really pay attention to our brand and the way we communicate throughout the department. Certainly that we have consistency, that we're on point, great messaging, etc. And then finally, Brian White, that will oversee all of our fundraising. We'll probably talk a little bit later about $200 million at least in terms of facility projects, and so really important to have somebody there that understands it, gets it, knows it. His family, long lineage in college athletics. Dad, Kevin, is the AD at Duke, and his brother, Mike, head basketball coach at Florida, and then his other brother, Danny, is the athletic director at Buffalo. So we're hoping Brian knows what he's doing. So.
That's good stuff. Thanks for sharing. I don't know if I'm going to ask a second question because I think we're going to kind of go through. Coach, I guess, what have you learned the most over your career, and what's been the most important thing you've learned from them?
My career, I'm learning things today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I mean, like just the one iconic thing that maybe sticks out.
Like well, I think first of all, it's all about people. And really, ultimately, that's what it's about. We serve people. It's the people around me that help me and serve my players and give them the resources to be successful. I think that's really where it starts. I think the thing that probably the thing when I first started coaching that probably helped me the most was when Don James told me when I asked him for advice, he said, he looked at me and he says, yeah, I got some advice, Gary. He looked me dead in the eyes. This was in Seattle right before I was getting on a plane to go to get my acceptance to the University of Toledo head coaching job. He looked at me right in the eye and he said, Gary, when things get tough, and with his steely eyes that he had, he said, they're going to get tough. You wake up that morning, you focus on doing your job. And every hour you focus on your job. And then the next day you do the same thing. You do it over and over. And I remember I walked out of the office thinking, that wasn't bad advice. I'm thinking, but you know what? For me, it was the greatest advice I was ever getting. This job can be so demanding. It can be so many people try to have opinions and get involved with things. If you get caught up in the stuff out there, you can't function. And so that probably was the best piece of advice from a person that's running a small company or a business like I am, and educating our players and winning football games that I could have ever gotten.
Awesome. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Yeah, great question.
I'll ask a question. I'm Ashley Gross. I guess we're doing backgrounds. I don't know, but I'm a Columbia girl. Been to tons of games. My whole family pretty much obsessed with Mizzou. We live, die, breathe black and gold. So my question for you, Coach, is, the Pope, he's here. He's in America. So are you kind of afraid he might be coming after you after those Notre Dame comments?
Well, to be very honest with you, I never did mention Notre Dame. I just said that independence. We should get independence in leagues so that we can all be part of championship games, and people decide to run with it the way they want it to. But I firmly believe that. But my father's side of my whole family's Catholic, so I think I'm in a little bit.
Yeah.
Way to put current events out there too, Ashley. That was great.
Hey, Coach and Mac, I'll ask a question. I just wanted to know, my name is Jason. I'm from Kansas City. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with the fans. And the question I had for you, Coach, was I just was curious, whenever you play, you coach against so many different teams and you coach against so many different coaches. Do you have one particular coach that you really like to go head-to-head with in the chess match? Is there one that stands out to you that you really like to go up against and game plan for?
No, you know what? I'm so in the present, in the now, that for me, every single game is so critically important. Obviously your rival game when it was Kansas. I mean, that when we were playing that game, obviously that takes on a whole different situation. But we're in Arkansas now, so that probably with Brett and I probably developed a little bit there too. But this is such a job that and so difficult to win. That, man, you focus on that one game and you put everything you have into it, then you go to the next one. And there's a lot of great coaches out there, and you have to understand that you have to get your team to bring their best each and every week to have an opportunity to win. But I have a lot of coaches out there I have great respect for.
Very good. Thanks so much.
You bet.
I have a question for Coach Pinkel. I've always been, my name's Kate Boatwright, by the way. I grew up just north of Columbia in a little town called Hallsville.
Yes.
And I'm a 96.
Just recently married.
I'm a 96 graduate, and I work for a company called Fresh Ideas. We're big supporters and love to go to the games. My question is about recruiting. I've always been real curious about the recruiting process. And Coach, I've heard you speak on numerous occasions about how you build a team and the qualities of a good team. My question is, how much do you weigh the character of a player versus the skill when you're recruiting a player that you want on your team?
Well, that's in our evaluation system. So that's where we have a component in there that we in our evaluation system we evaluate a player obviously his ability to play. We evaluate his we have a size, speed, strength indicator. So we come up with a physical rating. We obviously check out his academics and all those things that to see where he's academically and what he's interested in majoring in and how has he been in high school and such, and will he be able to come here and do the things necessary. I want guys who come here that want to graduate. That's important to me. I also want guys that come here and want to play in the NFL. So both are obviously important as far as winning and graduating our players, as I talk about all the time. But then we go what we call the tough questions. And is he dying to be a great player? Has he got great toughness? How does he accept harsh criticism? Does he come early and stay late to improve? Is he a good citizen? Has he ever been arrested? Have you had any problems with him? Are you concerned about any problems in the future with him? Is there anything we need to know that will allow us to help him be more successful? And so we go through all those, and there's actually many, many more of those we come up with, and then we evaluate that, and our whole staff listens to all this information, and then we decide and we vote whether we want the player to come in our program. And so the character of a player is very important. I think if a player does, for example, have had a problem, some kind of a problem in high school, we don't cross them off necessarily. I want to know about everything when we bring people in here, but we certainly have to really dig deep to make sure he's going to fit in with our players, and certainly the character of the players that we have. So that's certainly very, very important.
Yeah, that was a great question. I don't know if you guys saw the Tigers United last night on SEC Network, but most of those guys' backgrounds, you guys, Ladanian, his background before he's coming in and everything. So I've been impressed by that just sitting there watching. So great question. Anyone else want to jump in?
I've got a question for Mack.
Okay.
Sorry, David. I've got a question for Mack if he's got a second. You've been to 3 Tiger games now. Watched the Tigers. What do you think about the team and Mizzou and the stadium and everything? Coming from where you came from.
Well, and that's a great question, and thank you. So the first 2, obviously home games, just great environment. Was really proud of the fans. I thought just a great, really first crowd. It was hot, for them to come out and support like they did, and then, almost just a few seats away from a sellout against UConn, and again an 11 a.m. start. And, I went for a jog on campus at 7 a.m. and people were tailgating and cooking eggs and bacon, and it was great smell. I almost stopped my jog, but just great environment. And then just overall in terms of the team, just really been impressed in terms of how hard they play. The one thing that just rings through my mind is they play together, and they support one another. And if you're on the sideline, everybody's into the game and supporting their teammate. And I think it's a great culture that Coach Pinkel and his staff have developed. And that's why I can now say we thank you, but that's why we've won so many games here. So it's been a lot of fun the first 3 games.
Yeah, hi, I'm David Morrison. I cover the football team for the Columbia Tribune, so hopefully I'm a familiar face. But Mack, I had a question for you. You mentioned the $200 million in facilities improvements. I guess just kind of what's next on the pike, or kind of what's on your radar right now as far as those facility improvements go?
Well, we met with architects now. It was probably maybe now 2 weeks ago, and just really talking about master plan and really what our vision is in terms of just all of the facilities. And right now football is most important in terms of the priority and really figuring out just 2 components. What we do in terms of the stadium, fan experience, are the things that we can do to make it even better for when our fans come to the zoo and watch a game, and then just how it looks and from the outside, how it feels, etc. And then there's the football program piece, and how do we give Coach Pinkel and his staff every advantage? It's hard to win games, and when you think about facilities in the SEC, everybody's moving forward with these unbelievable nice amenities, whether it's locker rooms or team lounges or recruiting rooms. Virtual reality is on its way. All of those things, and so we really have to address that piece of it first, and make sure again we give our coaching staff just every opportunity to be successful. We want to recruit the best of the best, and in order to do that, we're going to have some facilities and improve the facilities that we have. So that's first and foremost, and then we've got a long list of others that we'll tackle one by one.
You guys have great questions so far. I know a few of you haven't spoken up yet, so introduce yourself. Jump in.
I'll go next. My name is Christian. I was a student at Mizzou, graduated last May 2014. I was a sport management student and did an internship with Learfield Sports and then also MFP. So I got some time on the field and then house in the marketing side as well. But Matt, kind of going off the facility question, when I was in school, we got to see the different phases of how you guys were going to tackle different facilities after entering the SEC. What next steps after the football program do you plan on tackling, and to what extent are you guys doing that?
Then I would tell you, we really have a bunch of other projects that are kind of on a level playing field, and so one of them is Hearns, and what do we do with Hearns? And we think that we're going to have to take that down or implode it and build a smaller arena, 3,500 seats, 5,000 seats to replace that, make it a great venue for our wrestling program, volleyball, gymnastics to compete in. That facility right now houses indoor track. So what do we do in terms of indoor track? Do we put some type of structure that's more adjacent to the outdoor track, maybe north? We really got to take a great look at baseball and what we do with the stadium, and does it make sense to really invest another, we think $15 million into that stadium, or do we start all over? Do we start from scratch and maybe locate that somewhere else? So those are all of the things. We have outdoor tennis and indoor tennis that we certainly have to think about and address. And so really, once we finish football, then those are really on a level playing field, and it's going to be a matter of funding and where can we raise money and how quickly we can raise money for one project versus the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. So we have football practice coming up soon. I know we have the first conference road game of the season. Does anybody have any final last questions for a few last minutes?
I'll ask one. We're all fans, and so from your all's perspective, what do you guys expect from us as fans? How much do we play into what's going on the field? After Maddie's comment last weekend, it was kind of like, all right, what do you guys expect from us? What do you want to see from the fans who are, coming and watching you and hoping for wins?
Well, first of all, I congratulated Maddie for getting booed, because every quarterback who ever coached has gotten booed before. So I said, welcome to the club. And I said, as a coach, it's probably happened to me a few times. That's an understatement. So that's our business a little bit. I think our fans just, they're caught up in the moment, and it's more about the situation than it is a player, And so, he's fine with that, I think our fans have done a great job, for switching leagues and understand that the SEC is a whole different level, and the contribution of the fans are hugely important for us. For example, the UConn game, which Mack just mentioned recently, just a few minutes ago, getting, almost selling that out and having the passion that they have in that stadium, and are really into it emotionally. They are. So we get it. It's awesome. But our responsibility, obviously, is to go play and play at a high level for our fans, and we certainly understand that. And we struggled a little bit offensively, defensively we played exceptional, and in our kicking game we had a lot of good things too. So we're going to work hard to continue to do that. But I think our fans, we're SEC fans. We're a different level fan. And I can say that in a real positive way and very proud way that we're getting it, and it's the passion of each and every game and the importance of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Coach Pinkel hit it right on the head. But in addition to that, it's really important that you're in the stands. And in today's world of TV, we make it easy in terms of watching it and at home, and if the weather isn't great or if you don't like the opponent, etc., we need you in the stands, and because that has a great impact in terms of just energy and what it does for our student athletes, what it does in terms of the opponent, and so really at the end of the day it's about us, and just be there in the stands. When we talk about what's the best way you can support Mizzou athletics, is to buy a ticket. Come to the venue, sit in the stands, cheer loud for us, okay, and help us on to victory.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Ash.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have time for one more?
Yeah, go ahead. One more.
Okay. So Coach Pinkel, you've always been so community-minded. We're so glad that you think about the community that you live in and work in. And I've been part of the Score Against Hunger committee. I know you like to participate in that. And the newest thing I know about is the visor auctions. So just real quickly, tell me how you guys came up with that idea and what do you hope is the goal for the biggest dollar amount raised for a visor. That's very cool.
Well, my wife came up with it, as a matter of fact, and she said that it's just thinking of a way to raise money in the community. And what we do is we at home football games and also the BYU game, which will be in Kansas City, is I'll get my visor that I wear after that game, and I sign it, put the opponent on it, and the date, and then I'll make a $1,000 contribution, and then what we'll do, we'll put it up for an auction online, and the total amounts of money, then we'll write a check out a couple weeks later, hand over the visor, and it's a great way for me and to help give to the community more, and that's important to me, and you all know that. And it's a great way for anybody that's out in really as a Mizzou fans that want to give to certain type of places, so they can make their choices on where they want to do. So that's how it's working. I think it's working out good, and I think it's very positive in many ways.
Great.
That was a great question. Just last week, we had Boys and Girls Club, and part that comes with the visors, you get a tour of the facility and come out to practice, and some of those kids came out to practice. Cool. Oh, they had so much fun. So, yeah, great question. Thank you. We're going to get ready for practice. Yeah,
I go to practice. We got a lot of work to do.
So do we.
Thank you all very, very much for.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Am I
Good luck next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.